If you have or haven't been to Great Adventure, we're launching something completely new.
Ignition.
It's the new Looping Starship. And it'll throw you for a 360-degree loop. So you're upside down 1 minute, right side up the next. Time after time after time. So starting April 4th, bring yourself and your friends to Great Adventure. Take the free fall, roll along in Rolling Thunder, and ride Great Adventure's new Looping Starship. See if you've got the right stuff. Have a great adventure, time after time after time.
And now, save $4 on our combination ticket to Great Adventure with specially marked bottles of 7-Up. Coming this spring, the exciting new Looping Starship. Great Adventure, now open daily.
Welcome to Theme Park Films, where we talk about all the information you need about roller coasters and more. And today, I'll be talking about the history of the Looping Starship at Six Flags Great Adventure. And before we begin, make sure you subscribe to get all the information you need about roller coasters and more. The Looping Starship was added to Great Adventure for the 1985 season. The ride was a part of the growing trend of parks throughout the country to add the latest versions of the popular swinging ships. Rides which were now featured as a full 360-degree loop. Six Flags and other parks companies installed these intimate-built rides with various themes including clipper ships, planes, and space shuttles. The Looping Starship, which was later renamed Space Shuttle, was dismantled during the 2007 to 2008 off-season. The Looping Starship was introduced as a thrilling new attraction for the 1985 season. The ride followed in the footsteps of the intimate swinging ship rides that Six Flags had rolled out to many of their parks in previous seasons. Like the swinging ship rides, it offered high capacity, reliability, and a visually exciting attraction as it took the thrilling concept to the next level. The ride was placed next to the Music Express across from the former location of the Haunted Castle, left vacant by the end of the prior season. The Looping Starship easily drew riders and spectators as it was highly visible from the park's front gate. For the first season, the Looping Starship had a name of Challenger, but the name was removed in the 1985 to 1986 off-season after the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger in January 28, 1986. But for the 1985 and 1986 seasons, the Looping Starship operated without a protective screen over the passenger cabin. Quite often, riders' loose articles would drop out of the ride as it hung out in the inverted position. And in 1987, a black net was stretched across the passenger compartment to catch falling objects, and in 1988, a rigged metal screen was added. Another modification to the ride was the removal of the twin fiberglass engines attached to both backsides of the shuttle body. These hollow cones would vibrate as the ride cycled, and it was featured the vibrations would eventually shake them loose, so they were removed during the 1986 season. From 1985 to 1989, the Looping Starship lacked any signature signage. A Looney Tunes theme identifier was added for the 1990 season, and it was in place to the end of the 1992 when the ride was renamed and rethemed. With Time Warner purchasing Six Flags, there was effort being made to theme these areas of the park. And they wanted to make sure these areas of the park had the right theming and the right rides located within them. Looping Starship was located in Old Country, but it did not fit the theming of Old Country, so the ride was being moved to Movie Town. The queue line was rerouted with its entrance in the Movie Town section, highly themed quarter located behind the ride featuring pictures of some stuff from the Warner Brothers movies The Right Stuff, together with the adjacent Scrambler ride, which was rethemed. The newly rethemed Space Shuttle were given elaborate new lighting, fences, and other themed elements to enhance their ties to the film and create a space-themed element environment. The Space Shuttle was meant to be a flight testing device as its new futuristic entryway proclaimed. The new theme was even continued in details like the sponsor signs, which were given a thematic overlay to future incorporate them into the surroundings. In the fall of 1996, the Space Shuttle was closed before the season ended, and this assembly began for the eventual removal to the other side of the park. The Space Shuttle was being moved because the preparation of the Batman and Robin the Chiller coaster for 1997. The ride would be relocated to new homes at the top of the boardwalk area near the Right Stuff Mach 1 Adventure and other flight-themed attractions, which were part of the Edwards Air Force Base area, a sub-region of the boardwalk section. Also, before the end of the 1996 season, the site preparations had already begun for the Space Shuttle's new home. The massive footings and underground pit for the ride's drive's tires were nearly completed before the final day of the season. By opening day of 1997, the Space Shuttle had been reassembled and it was operating in its new local framed by the boomerang element of the Great American Scream Machine. The Space Shuttle's new location made the ride very popular. The guests that entered the parking lot could easily see the massive shuttle orbiting on the edge of the park, and higher traffic boardwalk area guaranteed that guests would be waiting to board the next shuttle mission. Unfortunately, time was not on Space Shuttle's side. As the ride approached its 2-decade milestone of continuous operation over the years, the Space Shuttle had been through several extensive rehabs, often being closed for long stretches. For the 2004 season, the Space Shuttle sat dormant for the entire season, while refurbishment alternatives were being evaluated. Unlike on a roller coaster, the Space Shuttle's slow-moving spacecraft made huge slow-motion arcs, which left guests relying on safety devices to hold them onto place while they were hanging upside down. The safety features included seatbelts, lap bars, and neck harnesses, all of which were maintenance nightmares as the ride aged. The Space Shuttle returned to service for 2005, but in the remaining seasons ahead, would often stay closed for days or even weeks at a time. The ride made its last mission in 2007 and it was retired from the Great Adventure ride that summer. During the 2007 to 2008 off-season, the Space Shuttle ride was disassembled and cut for scrap, and the ride went to the junkyard, bypassing the park's often-used boneyard. The ride's massive counterweight support arms and ship's frame were sold off to scrap metal. The bulky fiberglass body of the shuttle included the expansive wings were cut into pieces and discarded into dumpsters for removal. Evidence of the ride's existence remained in the park in the 2009 and 2010 seasons. The Space Shuttle entrance and exit paths, as well as the queue area and loading dock, stood vacant until the area was marked for development as a part of the Green Lantern for 2011. The Space Shuttle's site was completely leveled at the same time for the Great American Scream Machine removal and a stand-up coaster called Green Lantern to move in. Make sure to subscribe to get all the information you need about roller coasters and more. If you want more roller coaster information, then make sure to click on this video. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up.